So the World Health Organization are now begging for support as they face existential crisis, and the UK banks are finally supporting small businesses. Well, hello guys, welcome to another episode of Maya's Life, where I just take you through my day and do my stuff and talk about the political issues of the day in a more informal format. Firstly, I wasn't actually expecting to wear jumpers anymore, but it's getting cold and rainy again, so it's all depressing on so many different levels in London. But the WHO and its boss, Tedros, are becoming quite desperate because we now have a lot of countries from Australia, Italy, the US, and now the UK asking, obviously, to scrutinize the role of WHO, and some of them are asking for it to be completely abolished. Some of them are asking to reform it. Some of them are asking for Tedros to resign because, he has a very dodgy background with his relationship with China and Mugabe and the whole stuff. He's too busy hanging out with his best friends Lady Gaga and Bill Gates for some reason. So there's a lot of issues there. So this guy is now desperate. He's spending a lot of time on Twitter. He keeps tweeting saying, please support us, please don't get rid of us, and it's getting quite funny. Now, one of the things he said is that he says the world should have listened to us from day one on this issue. Well, the same WHO that said China has said that this virus is not going to be transmitted human to human. The same WHO who've been complacent and been lying to people about everything. Yeah, I don't think we're going to listen to you anymore. Now, one of the most stupid thing that he's doing right now is I'm actually going to go to Tesco to get some food. Actually, in this video, I'm going to cook you my best creamy pesto chicken, so make sure to watch to the end of the video to learn how to do that. But yeah, this guy's going around on Twitter tweeting things like solidarity or honesty. What? So they make no sense, but he's doing that to beg for the support of the global media and the health activists to make sure that they can actually back him when the time comes. Right, so as I said, we're going to go to Tesco, get some food. We can't really walk around London today like the last couple of days, but let's go shopping, come back and talk about everything else and also cook that chicken. Right, so I'm back. Let's start cooking that chicken, but also let's talk about banks and how they've been supposed to be supporting small and medium-sized businesses during this crisis and how they've been embarrassingly bad. Their excuses were, we're lazy, it's going to take some time, we don't have enough money. Well, the same banks that didn't hesitate when it came to asking the taxpayers to bailing them out back in 2008. So guys, you need to sort it out. Well, it's got to a point where we now had yesterday the Chancellor Rishi Sunak coming out to announce that we're now going to have 100% state-backed guaranteed loans for small businesses. Now, finally, we're going to have banks easing the restrictions to actually do these, give out these loans, which is about time. But it's already getting too late. There are a lot of small businesses that are going down because of this situation, and they definitely need to firstly backdate everything, that whether it's grants or loans, they need to backdate them and they need to make sure that they are supported completely. Right, so I just finished food. I realised that in the video it probably looked a bit too green and pesto-y, but trust me, it tasted amazing. And also, you might have to get used to tolerating me cooking more on these vlogs if it continues to rain. If I can't go outside, I'm going to have to make these videos while cooking, so get used to it. Also, if you have any food ideas that I should cook, put it in the comment section and I'll try and do that. I do make the best lasagnas in the world, just saying. But other good news. Apart from banks finally supporting SMEs, well, we'll have to wait and judge them soon, is Greggs are opening some of their branches. So yeah, they've now announced that they're going to open a lot of the shops across the country, which means nature is healing. I know a lot of people are snobbish when it comes to Greggs, but I'm proud to be supporting him. So I'm a regular Greggs goer, whatever you call it. So that's that. Yesterday we talked about the media and Piers Morgan being annoying, and how Donald Trump unfollowed Piers Morgan on Twitter. Now Piers Morgan's gone on his regular column that he has on the Daily Mail, and he's written an open letter to the president. I mean, are you kidding me? It's like one of those needy exes that begs you to get back together and oh, please be my friend, please don't leave me. Sending an open letter to the president. It's embarrassing. But yeah, the role of the media is changing, and they're all absolutely selfish, self-centered. And one of my good friends, Dawn Neeson, who's one of the good journalists, was on talk radio, completely destroying these lamestream fraudcasters.
And you know what's really annoying me, Dan, is the trust in journalism in this country has gone through the floor, purely because so many journalists are just out to promote their own careers and to shout down the government no matter what they do. Even the announcement today that, frontline healthcare workers will be given a £60,000 payment if they lose their lives in the line of duty. People are criticising that already.
Yes, she's absolutely right, and I fully support what she said. So now it's time to answer the questions from the members of this channel. As you know, once a week, if you're a member, you get to submit your questions directly to me, and I answer them on the vlogs. If you want to become a member, check out the link in the description after the video. Not yet. So let's start with Adam Sanchez. Adam says, my question is, what is your view on people wearing masks? Well, I'm not a medical expert, obviously, so I'm not going to be like, well, you have to do this or you don't have to do this. All I know is that from what we've heard, the regular ordinary masks that you see outside people wearing, they're not only not really effective, they're also actually counterproductive, because you're more likely to be infected by them. So the ordinary ones that you see out in the streets, it's pointless. And the good ones, it primarily actually stops you from infecting others, which is kind of obviously useful. Or you could just stay at home, self-isolate, easier. So that's, we don't know. I'm not a medical expert, so I'm not going to advocate for or against it. Liam says, Maya, why do countries with no lockdown measures, like Taiwan and others, seem to fairly equally, as well as those who have full lockdowns? Because some of the stats indicate that they have no higher mortality rate than we do. I think that this is one of those things that could be analysed after this whole situation. Every country, every culture is different, depending on where they are, how they kind of behave when it comes to the social distancing measures. And the full economic shutdown and lockdown is might actually be proven wrong. You can still obviously have social distancing measures and self-isolate people who are vulnerable to the virus without actually bringing down the economy. So that could be, this is one of those things that will be analysed in the next few months after we actually pass this phase. I don't really know at this point. Steve says, when is the government going to sort out the BBC for their lies and being anti-government? So there is a programme in place right now from the government side to introduce the review of the BBC. Obviously, they're kind of busy with everything else, but that's already scheduled, and so we'll over the next year, hopefully we'll have the report on what to do with the BBC and if we're going to reform it or turn it into a subscription base or just abolish it. We'll keep you guys posted, obviously. Stuart says, what is your gaming history from Mega Drive to PC or PlayStation, Xbox? I do play a lot less now. I do have a PlayStation 4. I've moved. Never had Mega Drive. I had the Nintendo, the old ones. And then went to PlayStation 1, 2, and then moved to Xbox. Then I moved back to PlayStation. Yeah, it's all a bit of a mess. But I don't really have time these days to actually play much. Apart from FIFA. Alan says, why did David Davis not support the issue that Dominic Cummings go into these SAGE meetings, and says that the government should be more transparent regarding his attendance to SAGE meetings during a TV interview? Yeah, so David Davis did criticize Dominic Cummings. That's primarily because some people think it's because David Davis historically never liked Boris, So could it be that? Actually, in fact, David Davis is a very principled libertarian, and in the name of transparency and kind of smaller government, he's against any of these kind of powers to be given to special advisors even. So he's always been against special advisors having too much power or all that stuff. So it could be that, or it could just be, he doesn't like Boris. So Steve says, this new financial transaction tax that Angela Merkel wants to impose doesn't apply to us, does it? No, so it's primarily for the EU 27 countries, and we're no longer a member of the EU, so anything new like this that's going to come, it's not going to apply to us, which is good. But this stupid financial transaction tax is counterproductive. It's not going to work, and it will definitely bring down a lot of businesses across Europe. So, Jonathan, hello Maya, I'm a new member. Are people in Leeds aware what HS2, that's High Speed Rail 2, will do to their fine city and outlying rural communities? This lockdown has proven that people can work from home on computers. Surely this whole high-speed rail being a bit faster is just an elitist train. Well, you're absolutely right. HS2 is the most stupid project ever. The amount of money that's being wasted is going to be over £100 billion. For what? For making it easier and 15 minutes quicker to get to London from Birmingham or Manchester. Why? Why do we have to prioritise London over other areas? This is the biggest problem. This country is already London centric. We do not need more people and the wealth and everything to get transferred back to London. What we need to do is to improve transport in the north, and especially link and connect north east to northwest, East Midlands to West Midlands. That's what we need to do instead of this idiotic train, which the ticket prices are going to be so expensive that ordinary people can't really afford it anyway. So it's just going to be for certain people who are going to be working in London but living outside. I'm against it. Mary Wallace, Maya, I'm curious to know what your views are regarding China, seeing as the West relies on them so much, and how they have strategically built up their businesses globally. If you've seen my videos recently, I'm fully anti-CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, and we definitely need to change our relationship. The dependency that we created, whether it's in the US or the Western Europe, on China, has been there have been a lot of people who have been criticizing and warning us for years and years that do not depend on China too much. One day it's going to backfire, and it is. So that's the biggest problem. I'm against China. Daniel says, I like Boris as a person, but can we have faith that he will get us through this situation? It's a tough situation, regardless of who's the Prime Minister, who's the leader, and considering all the other options, actually, Boris is the best option. He's the happy warrior who's bringing everyone together. Because the rest of it is, he's just the face, he's the leader. The actual day-to-day work and tasks are done by teams, whether it's Sage, whether it's the actual hospitals or medical professionals and scientific advisors. And so they actually do the daily stuff, and he's just the representative to be the face. In that regard, he's the best person because he's the best face. Mandy, the last question. Mandy says, hi Maya, I'm a nurse in an A&E. I cringe every time I see nurses and doctors dancing in groups on social media. My worry is that the media has built the NHS up only to knock us down and destroy us. Using these videos as an example of us wasting time when people are dying from lack of cancer treatments and everything else, am I worrying unnecessarily? Well, firstly, Mandy, thank you so much for everything you do, your work. I don't think the media are doing it on purpose, because the media are actually very much pro NHS. What they're doing is counterproductive. It's actually damaging the reputation of the NHS staff by keep showing these videos and people, the nurses dancing around the hospitals. They don't actually realize that what they're doing is it's damaging the whole brand. The biggest problem I have is that there are some people, as you mentioned, who make it look like people can't take the NHS or the hospital staff seriously anymore. But I don't think the general public are thinking that the majority of nurses or doctors are lazy. I don't think that's happening. People are criticizing the cult of the NHS, this religion that you cannot touch. But that's it. The whole NHS as a brand is different to the staff, the doctors and nurses and all the professionals. There's two different topics. People are, and this is actually bad for the staff. The more the brand, the religion gets bigger, the worse it's going to get for the actual doctors and nurses, because the condition, obviously the quality of the salaries and everything, the standards that they have will go down, because the bigger that you make that, the harder it's going to get to manage the healthcare system. So what you need to do is actually, the best case scenario is to reform the NHS, just like Western Europe or Northern Europe in Scandinavia, and those systems actually work. And then that way, people like yourselves and other nurses and doctors will be better off, with better salaries, better conditions to work. So what we're doing is this kind of religion that we've created that you can't even touch is actually not helping. But anyway, I've been ranting for too much. So I want to say massive thank you again to all of you who've been watching, tolerated me while I was cooking earlier. And the members, thanks again for submitting your questions. There are a lot of other questions that I'm going to answer next time. If you want to become a member and get access to all this stuff, then check out the link in the description, or find the join button next to subscribe under the video, or just go on your browser and type in youtube.com/myitc/join. We, as you know, these daily vlogs, the Maya's Life daily vlogs are happening now every day at 8 p.m. But our news show is going to continue every day at 5:45 p.m. So if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and click on the bell next to it. We do keep you guys posted on everything else that's happening with Brexit, the European Union, and also this current health crisis. I'm MyITC. I'll see you guys tomorrow with a new video.